What's up, hackers? Welcome back to another episode here. And on this episode, I'm going to be going through the new features that Fidelity rolled out. Now, this is part of an ongoing series that I have about covering a lot of the crypto adoption that's happening from institutions. That's including Robinhood and, of course, Fidelity. So today I'm going to talk about the crypto Fidelity IRAs. That is super exciting to see that. I know that sounds a little boring, but this is a huge deal for the overall crypto space. The big news is that you can effectively now deposit Solana and Litecoin. Now, what is Solana? A lot of people watching this are probably curious. A lot of people know what it is. I'd say it's probably half and half. Get a lot of DMs about Solana because it's a big project and people who've been around the space for a while know what it is, but ultimately it's a fast, scalable, and powering real world apps like DeFi, a lot of NFT projects, a lot of meme coins, a lot of payment systems on top of there. So it's basically like an Ethereum, but it's got a lot of faster, more scalable approaches to its technology. So Solana is a very exciting project, and seeing Fidelity add that to the ability to deposit it on their platform is a huge vote of confidence of that technology and that project as an asset. And then you have Litecoin. Litecoin's been around for a very long time and is one of the oldest crypto projects, and it's often viewed as like the digital silver. And it has been pretty bulletproof for every cycle. It's got a huge community. I remember the Litecoin Summit was a big deal back in the day with like Crypto Blood and Bitcoin Ben. A lot of those guys would go there, and I remember how big of a deal it was. So why is it such a big deal that Fidelity has expanded beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum into Solana and Litecoin? It's because people can get more exposure to different assets, and that is a big deal in finance as a whole. People want to spread out across a bunch of different assets, and that is the name of the game. People want exposure. They don't want direct exposure, so they buy ETFs. They don't want exposure to one crypto, so they diversify across a broader spectrum of all these different options in platforms like Fidelity, in platforms like Gemini, a more straight, purebred crypto exchange. So this is kind of big news. And for everybody out there in the Solana and Litecoin community, congratulations. This is a big deal. Getting access to over 40 million users is huge. And I think that it is important to mention that this is the first part of how Fidelity's thinking about things. They're adding a bunch of different assets, of course, ones that are giving people exposure. They're able to deposit on there. That's a crucial part, and withdraw. So they can deposit those assets onto their Fidelity account, pull it off onto a wallet if they want to. The next phase is the IRAs. When you step into the realm of retirement funds, you're cracking open trillions of dollars effectively. You have all of these financial advisors all over the world who are now getting hip to crypto assets. And when you have institutional grade custody like Fidelity, and you have the ability to kind of separate your exchange account from your IRA and your retirement accounts, you have a really unique opportunity. So it's not just traditional like stocks and ETFs. You're able to buy, sell, and hold crypto on your Fidelity dashboard. IRAs that they've enabled are basically going to let that retirement and those advisors slowly move into these assets, which is a big deal. If you're brand new to IRAs and all the different types of retirement accounts, the main key component to it is tax advantages. So holding crypto in an IRA means potential tax-free or tax-deferred gains. So if you're depending on an IRA as your vehicle to make your investments, you can move cash into IRAs as like a sort of tax-free or deferred tax approach. This is a big bundle of cash that is available to invest. And traditionally it's in, some stock. If you haven't noticed already, I'm bullish on Fidelity Crypto, and I believe that they are doing some incredible things around adding new assets in these phases. And they're also adding now the ability to hold crypto in an IRA, which is a huge implication for tax-free, tax-deferred gains. And depending on the different IRA type that you have on there, it's a huge deal for a lot of people. And I think that for the crypto space as a whole, it should be celebrated because it's opening access to more humans. And I think that's important. So expanding out the offering. Ultimately, the Schwabs and the JP Morgans and stuff like that, they're behind in terms of this adoption, and they're not going to be able to move fast enough. I kind of view Fidelity and Robinhood together as a bridge of TradFi and crypto. They're very much bridging these two worlds together, where you have Gen Z and millennials on both of these platforms. They're sort of figuring out all the different components that go into it. Robinhood is an extremely slick design. I think Fidelity's done a great job there and focusing on adding new assets. So it's really about legitimizing this as a long-term investment. So what I want to do is I want to show you the Fidelity IRA setup here. I want to actually show you the dashboard and walk you through some of the questions that I initially had and where I was doing my research. So you guys can check it out with the links below, but let's dive onto the site. What is the tax treatment? It is determined by the IRA type. So you can learn about the different ones. Contributions and distributions are completed and reported through the linked Fidelity brokerage IRA. So it links to the brokerage IRA, the traditional one. And I think that that's how they're doing it so that you kind of understand the rules around each one is because they're linked directly. Fidelity Crypto, Roth IRA, Fidelity Crypto Rollover IRA, Fidelity Crypto Traditional IRA. Transfer between your linked Fidelity brokerage IRA and your Fidelity Crypto IRA are non-reportable and non-taxable. A big deal for a lot of people for these two words, non-reportable and non-taxable. So that is it for this next installment of my Fidelity series. Super bullish on the platform, excited to see all of these new assets getting added. And also just the idea of the Fidelity Crypto IRA is huge. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, and I'm really excited to see them just going all in on this space. And having the idea that you can deposit and withdraw now is monumental. I think that there's so many cool features that could be added on top of that. And these IRAs are going to be huge when regulation moves around. And when you have like brokerage IRAs linked to the crypto IRAs, you have the transfer between those two, and just the flow of capital is going to be a lot of fun to witness and see as Fidelity ramps up and gets bigger and bigger in 2026. So that is it for this video. I will see you here in the next episode of Hack Crypto.